Okay, I would say good morning. It is not the morning, it is the evening. And I left you on a cliffhanger yesterday because my phone ran out of storage. So, hopefully, we've adjusted. Today is Friday. I am headed to the gym. I did not do cardio this morning. I am going to do that right now, as well as my lift. Not ideal right now to be stacking cardio and my lift. Um, but today was a slow day. I didn't feel great this morning. I recorded the podcast with class and got hit with like a wave of exhaustion. So I took a nap and I've been slowly getting my ish together since. Um, but yeah, just very, very grateful today. Last night, had a very fun match with Bayer, Bronson, Ichiban, and 23 Hazard, little tag action. First tag match without class in probably 2 to 3 years. It sucked because, no, sorry, it didn't suck. It was different, but I miss him. It's no shade to everyone else in the match. Everyone was amazingly professional and honestly just good dudes. I get along with all of them, but it's different, you know. Class has been my best friend and my tag partner in life and in wrestling, really. Like, he's been helping me a lot through shit, and so being able to experience that stuff with him and be in the ring and be in our element together has been great. And obviously it's been different with singles, but like in a tag scenario, it really hit me. I was like, oh damn. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. We'll be tagging together here soon in September, so I'm excited. Don't go. Almost got hit in front of a fire truck. Um, but yeah, so today we are on the way to the gym, which I said, and I don't know. I'm just very grateful and I'm excited. It's if you I guess the message of last night is I believe if you're a good person and you try your best to be a good person on top of accomplishing your goals and you're not shy of working hard, then you can truly do whatever you want in this life. And I know that's so cheesy and I know that's stupid, but I would rather be, what's going on here, overly positive than overly negative, because I spent years of my life being overly negative, and I don't want to do that anymore because it was at one point my personality. You know, depression wasn't necessarily a something I, you know, lived with. It was just my entire personality at a point. And so once I came to terms with the fact that, like, you know what, this is how I was diagnosed with like chronic extreme depressive disorder, something like that. Like, sounds crazy and made up, but and there were a couple other things, but it's weird. Like, I didn't want to tie my identity to that, so I didn't even. I have the, you know, whatever diagnosis it was, but I didn't really give it much of a thought afterwards because I was like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, not necessarily who I am, and that was years ago. And so since then, there's been a ton of ups and downs, and I'm no different than anyone else. There's just ups and downs, and how you deal with them is ultimately the only thing you can control, right? Which has been a theme so far in these videos. Control what you can control. And other than that, be a good person and work hard, because we're all going to die anyways. So we may as well do what we want and help others while we're here. But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to stop and treat myself, do a little pre-workout. I'm excited. I might get a C4, maybe. I don't know. The selection up here isn't great. They have Gorilla Mines at this gas station right by my house, but it's such a pain to get there right now because of all this construction. So I'm gonna have to nix the Gorilla Mine today and go for a more convenient option, which is fine. I've been very blessed and spoiled with Gorilla Mines recently, and guess there was a point I was trying to get to, but I really don't know what that is anymore. Um, I'm just appreciative of life right now and today, and of my circle, and of the new people I'm meeting out here. The fans too, as much as we have this tumultuous relationship and their obsession with me being bald, which is hilarious. Um, but like fans are starting to like. I was given a gift yesterday, which was really awesome. A free donut voucher from a fan who is such a sweetheart, and she's very supportive. Um, and it's just like, okay, like things are going good here. I am building a connection with people. I am having good matches. I am blessed with consistent opportunities. What more can I ask for? Am I in the place I want to be financially? No. Am I where I want to be, even wrestling wise? I guess so, right? Because I'm out here and I'm progressing. But ideally, I want to be, one of the top names in the world. But it's just patience is a part of it, and consistency is also a part of it. So there's not. I find that I am someone who always focuses on what could be better, that a lot of the times I struggle with realizing what I have, and I am trying to reframe my brain from thinking that way. And so I am just extremely appreciative of what I have. What is this jabroni doing? All right. And yeah, I'm gonna go get a pre-workout, wake the fuck up a little bit, and let's go hit some push. We'll see how that goes. Hey, so I'm actually going to try something a little bit different today. I wanted to kind of do a voiceover over the workout, because as much as I love the music and all that, I just want to give this a shot. I'm experimenting, I'm trying things. So today's push day. We're actually starting with some rear delt work. We're starting here with the rear delts because it's kind of just to prime the shoulders in general, get them warm before we start pressing. If you've never done rear delt work, or even sometimes like a bent over row, in order to kind of get your body ready to press and for heavy pressing movements, try it out. My shoulders feel a lot better when I do this, and I believe I did 3 or 4 sets on the rear delt just to get blood in there and get a good pump going. It's the same kind of concept as hamstring curls before squats, right? That way your muscle is warm and your joint is actually avoiding a lot of the tension. So we start here with this bolt plate loaded incline press. I love this machine. It's very, very smooth. It's got a good angle. It's heavy as hell. I believe here I'm doing, 245s and a 25, so that's 230. And I believe I etched out 6. I can't really remember, but I am a huge fan of this machine. I love incline barbell. That's probably my favorite. However, this deep into a cut, I believe we're 8 weeks in, it's just way better for me to be using machines in order to get the most out of every movement and not get hurt, but also to kind of protect my ego a bit. Because you're just not as strong in a cut as you would be in a bulk, which is basic, but it does kind of mess with you mentally. So here, the deeper I get into a cut, I'm more so worried about the contraction and the quality of the reps rather than the weight that I'm doing, which is a huge mental battle that I fight a lot, because I do kind of have a competitive and almost fragile ego when it comes to myself, and sometimes when I know I'm capable of more, it's hard to accept that this is the best that I am right now. And so we do 2 heavy and a back off there, and we're on to some cable flies. I'm not going to go into the exact programming because I do have a coach, Coach Blake Burenberger from Team Loud Performance. He's an amazing coach, and I feel weird about giving out programming that other people have done. And as a coach myself, I just don't like the idea of that. So I'm not going to be going into specifics. However, I will be breaking down the movements and why I do them a certain way. Here, I'm bent over this way in order to get a great stretch at the top there. I have had some shoulder issues just from wrestling, and I think just the wear and tear of everything going on right now. So I'm not getting as much of a stretch as I would like to get, to be honest, but we're doing our best. Here, I'm more so concerned about the contraction and getting as much blood as I can into my pecs. And these, I had to go lighter than I did the week before. I keep track of all of my workouts, and as much as it was a defeating moment, I was able to kind of lock in and push the intensity, even though the weight wasn't as heavy as the week before, which I am proud of myself. Here, as you can see, I am toasted. Like this is, you'll see later, but I end up getting pretty sick the next day. So I don't even have a vlog for the next day. We're gonna jump forward a day in time. But looking back at this workout, I can see like, oh yeah, my body was pretty toasted. I'm taking breaks in between these high. I'm doing more myo rep sets and rest pauses as opposed to straight sets. And it's not by design. It's literally because my body is just pushed to a limit, and honestly probably begging for recovery here. Here is the last set on these chest flies. I wish I would have slowed it down a little bit more and almost paused at the top of the stretch there. But overall, I can't be too upset at myself. We're always learning. We're always getting better. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I execute every single rep perfectly. I try to be as perfect as I can, realizing that I'll never quite hit, absolute perfection. And then just push forward through effort and consistency, because at the end of the day, that's what we can control. After those cable flies, we bump over to a lateral raise machine. I am not the biggest fan of these seated ones, to be honest. I like a dumbbell. I just was not in the mood. Obviously, my body is toasted, and I just wasn't in the mood for dumbbell. I liked a good... these did the job. Typically, I will say I'm a way bigger fan of the standing lateral raises, whether it be the Joe Weider Olympia ones or the Arsenal. Just because I feel like that's like the perfect movement, and it forces such a great contraction on your lateral delts and gets so really, they're just my favorite in terms of standing laterals. I also have been really liking a cuffed lateral cable raise. My coach programmed those, and that's the first time I ever done those, because I used to see the cuffs, right, and I'd be like, oh frick, like, yeah, I don't need that. A handle works just fine. And then I tried it with the cuffs, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I will say the greatest lateral raise machine I think of all time is the NewTek. There's a gym in Scottsdale that had it. It was a standing lateral NewTek, and it's pin loaded, but it has handles so that there's a handle you can grab onto, but there's also a handle that goes on the top of your wrist, so you can just worry about pushing upwards and engaging as much as you can with the lateral delt, as opposed to squeezing and grabbing onto a handle, which can sometimes shift the tension a little bit. So that is probably the goated lateral raise machine. Here we have what I call the Meadows, based off of John Meadows tri-set. It's 10 dual handle tricep pushdowns here, and then we're going to do 10 reverse grip, and then we're going to finish off with 10 overhead extensions. I'm not mad. My arms are a huge weak point in my physique, but here you can see I'm getting relatively leaner, which I guess I'm not mad at. I appreciate it. Still a lot of work to do, but I am happy with the direction we're headed in terms of physique development. And then here we finished up with the 10 overhead, and that's a push day. Not everything was recorded, I won't lie, and I'm not going to go into everything just because out of respect for my coach. But ultimately, we got through the workout, and we did what needed to be done. Okay. We are done at the gym. We are headed home. I have a couple meals to eat still, which is unfortunate. But you know what? Today, not the greatest workout. And that's okay, because I gave what I could today. And so I feel like there's a lot of people who, and to be fair, I was one of them, get really frustrated when they're not able to, you know, perform at their peak level. And it's just not realistic. And I'm all for being ambitious. But in the grand scheme of things, it's, and I've heard this all the time, but it hasn't really clicked ever until recently. Like, consistency will beat everything, right? Consistent hard work and adaptability to situations, I believe, will always lead to winning and victory and all the things. And so today, did I beat my numbers from last week? No. Did I have to go down a little bit? Yes, on some exercises. Did I feel the best? No. But instead of, like, I was talking, like, I would find myself internally talking shit to myself. And I was like, dude, like, come on. I feel like trash. This week has been just like a low energy week. And I was like, it's weird. I was circling a depressive episode, I think, and I've been able to just, like, you know, maintain a positive mindset, which I'm proud of, and just able to keep my head down and work. And today I gave 100% of what I could today. And as much as, you know, that little voice started creeping in, it's like, well, you couldn't really hit your numbers. It's okay. Like, there's a balance, right? Like, it's okay. Maybe you only do 20 minutes of cardio. Just do the intervals, not the full 40, stuff like that. And it was just, no, like, I can have some grace with myself while also pushing myself, right? And so today, for example, yes, it wasn't my strongest. It wasn't my best workout. I wasn't mentally with it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to allow that to trickle into the cardio and the meals and stuff. No, that shit still has to get done. I'm just not all the way there mentally today, and that's okay. But the work still has to get done. So I'm trying to find that balance, right? Because I think that's what makes people great. And it's not about being perfect all the time and performing at your max potential every day. It's about having those non-negotiables, and it's okay. Today's lift, not the best. Cardio, I can, you know, dig deep and get this done. So I still hit my intervals, 20 minutes on the stairs, 1 minute high intensity, 1 minute low, back and forth, and then I did the 20 minutes on the incline tread. Great. Awesome. Now I get to go home, hit my meals, watch Army of Darkness, which will complete the old Evil Deads that I've been watching. I watched the first 2 last week, and I thought they were just outrageous. So I'm excited to see what's in store for this one. And then tomorrow is probably a rest day, just because I think I've trained 5 days in a row. And tonight, obviously, my body wasn't living up to the peak performance like we were talking about. So now it's okay, time for a rest day. I still have to do my cardio because it's 6 days a week, so I'm still gonna do that. But my lift, I'm gonna allow my body to recover, work on my business tomorrow, put together some content, and redirect my efforts in order to allow my body to just, you know, heal and refresh and recover, because that is an issue I have, is overextending myself. And especially in a deficit like we are right now, that doesn't always make for the best results mentally and physically. So, excuse me. Bottom line is, have some grace with yourself, but don't let the inner bitch win. Have some grace, but understand what's grace and what's just being a pussy, you know? And today, I had some grace with myself with the lift, but I held myself to the standard of still gotta get cardio done. Which, back in the day, if I were to, like even, you know, 6 months ago, I would let that lift defeat me and go, okay, I guess today, you know, I would start negotiating with myself. Well, today maybe I need to recover a little bit more, so I won't do all the cardio. It's like, nope, That's not an option. I'm going to do it. It's gonna suck, and it didn't really suck, to be honest. But even if it did, still gotta get it done. And then tomorrow we do it again, and we rest. So I will check in with you guys tomorrow, and yeah, have some grace with yourselves, and also find the balance between having grace and being a little bitch. And just don't give up. Keep going. See you guys.